Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
A local football coach has a city rallying behind him as he battles cancer, the benefit that took place today for him. After a resident's dog fell into the sinkhole in her backyard, she needed help to fix it. How a town and volunteer club got involved to help. And over 1 million people are expected to attend the Chicago Air and Water Show. The event returns to the city for the first time since 2019. Good evening, I'm Taylor Castro. Thanks for joining us this evening. A longtime local football coach learned he has cancer this past spring. Today, the community came together for a fundraiser. It was held at Coach's Corner in Belvidere. There's a dunk tank, bags, tournament, live music, food, and more. Friends say the response from the community has been great.
He was born and raised in Belvidere, that he lives in Belvidere. It needs to be at Coach's Corner, being a former coach, and this is, Belvidere, as it always has been, is a growing community, but it's a small community, and they take care of their own.
Leonard coached football at Rockford's Christian Life High School, Rockford Lutheran, and his alma mater, Belvidere. A resident with a sinkhole in her backyard has people rallying to help. Since she cannot do it on her own, a community organization stepped in. People came out to an ice cream social in downtown Poplar Grove to raise money for the Lions Club, who will hire professional contractors to fix the hazard. The Lions Club is a service club that helps with community projects like this one. The president of the organization thinks it's important to get involved.
There's a lot of good service clubs out there, and every town has needs, and get involved.
You can find more information on how to donate in this story on mystateline.com. Fall is just around the corner, and today marked the start of the fall season for Curran's Orchard in Rockford. There's no shortage of fall treats, from apple donuts to cider slushies and more. Plus, there are plenty of outdoor activities to enjoy. One activity could send you home with a dozen donuts.
In another week, we'll set up the apple slingshot, where you can fire apples with a balloon launcher at a target, and if you hit the bullseye, you win a dozen donuts.
The orchard is open daily from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. As one season begins, another one ends. And today is not the best day for a swim, but Jordan says tomorrow will be better. And tomorrow is the last chance to hit up a Rockford Park District pool. Both Harkins Aquatic Center and Sand Park Pool will close tomorrow. Alpine Pool closed earlier this week because of staffing. Beloit's Public Pool will be open Sunday and Monday from 1 until 6. Tomorrow is also the last day to check out the Winnebago County Fair. This is the last county fair in the state line. Gates open at noon in Pecatonica. It'll cost you $5 to get in, and for $25 you can get a ride band for the Midway. The fair wraps up with the Demolition Derby at the grandstand at 2 p.m. The Illinois State Fair continues, and so does the tradition of the Illinois Treasurer's unclaimed property auction. Items from the auction were from inactive safety deposit boxes turned over to state government a decade ago. 250 lots were auctioned off, with items ranging from coins and jewelry to baseball cards and Beatles memorabilia. The treasurer says the fair is a good place to attract higher bids.
We want to make sure we get as high a return as possible for this. We want to make sure the sales are as high as possible because this money belongs to Illinois citizens. We safeguard this, but we also want people to come out here today after our auction is over and to enjoy the Illinois State Fair.
Tomorrow is the last day of the State Fair. The Chicago Air and Water Show returns this weekend for the first time since the pandemic started. The Navy's Blue Angels are the star attraction. Each Super Hornet jet costs more than $67 million and is painted blue and gold for the official colors of the Navy. The skilled pilots fly in close formation, climbing at 30,000 feet per minute before beginning their maneuvers. This weekend, the Army's Golden Knights parachute team will pay a special tribute to Rudy Malnati. The beloved pizza icon was one of the biggest champions of the Air and Water Show. 1 million spectators are expected. And Ferris Bueller fans, Paramount Pictures plans a spin-off of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, focusing on two characters who you barely got to know in the 1986 hit comedy. Titled Sam and Victor's Day Off, the film will focus on the two valets who took Cameron's father's red Ferrari for a spin. The valets didn't have names in the film. The people behind the Karate Kid streaming series are producing the film, and it's unknown if Ferris Bueller or Cameron will make appearances. The United States is sending more military aid to Ukraine as the war with Russia enters its 6th month. Here's Em Nguyen with the details.
The U.S. announcing another massive military aid package for Ukraine, valued at $775 million. It will include more ammunition for the HIMARS rocket systems, 16 new howitzers, and for the first time, the Pentagon is sending 15 Scan Eagle reconnaissance drones to better identify key Russian targets. This latest round of military aid comes as the standoff in Zaporizhzhia continues. Heavy shelling near Ukraine's largest nuclear plant has many fearing a potential catastrophe. ABC News was there as hundreds of Ukrainians fled.
We've been told there would be a huge convoy of cars coming in from the Russian-occupied areas, and here they are, taking everything they can with them to get to safety.
Ukraine's President Zelensky met with the UN Secretary General, who says the area around the plant needs to be demilitarized.
Agreement is urgently needed to establish Zaporizhzhia as purely civilian infrastructure and to ensure the safety of the area.
In a phone call between Russian President Vladimir Putin and French President Emmanuel Macron, both parties agreed to an independent inspection by the International Atomic Energy Agency to inspect the plant as soon as possible and assess the real situation on the ground. Ukrainian officials have shared a video of Russian vehicles inside the plant, accusing Russia of using the plant as a military base. ABC News has not verified the date this video was taken. Zelensky has vowed to take back control of the plant. Meanwhile, Ukraine has warned that Russia is looking to disconnect the Zaporizhzhia plant from Ukraine's electric grid and redirect the power to its own grid. And now, Russian state-owned energy company Gazprom has said it will shut down its natural gas pipeline for 3 days at the end of the month, putting pressure on European countries that depend on that fuel. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Also in Ukraine, some of the ports in Ukraine have reopened. The U.S. is sending major shipments of food aid to areas devastated by starvation. As part of its invasion, Russia blocked the ports, but an agreement brokered by the United Nations and Turkey reopened some of them. It allows Ukraine, one of the world's biggest grain suppliers, to resume shipments to the U.S. And the U.S. reportedly bought 150,000 metric tons of grain to be shipped to the Horn of Africa, where an estimated 22 million people are starving. American companies are bringing a record number of jobs back to the U.S. The Wall Street Journal reports companies are on pace to bring almost 350,000 jobs that have once been overseas back to America. The pandemic shutdowns and supply chain issues have a lot to do with that. Many of those jobs are in areas like manufacturing. Dozens of companies are announcing plans to build technology and chip factories in the U.S. Analysts don't think this is just a momentary blip. They are predicting this is a long-term trend. The Food and Drug Administration has ordered Pfizer to do more tests regarding an additional course of Paxlovid among people who have had a rebound case of COVID-19 after taking a first treatment. Pfizer was given a deadline of September of next year to come up with results of the second course of the antiviral. Since the spring, numerous patients have reported resurgences of COVID in either viral infections or symptoms after an initial course of Paxlovid. It happened to President Biden as well as top medical advisor Anthony Fauci.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Well, we've had these scattered showers and storms throughout much of the day today, and even earlier, a couple of them did produce some severe thunderstorm warnings, with one of those warnings clipping just part of Whiteside County off to the southwest part of our viewing area. The rest of our areas have remained free of those severe thunderstorm warnings, and even a couple of tornado warnings with some of these storms. Now, one thing we want to mention here, some of these lighter showers and even some thunderstorms, we do hold on to the possibility we could see a couple of funnel clouds associated with these, mostly because of these areas. That's where we're seeing that low pressure system that's spinning out of the area, and as that moves directly overhead with these showers and storms, there's just enough atmospheric spin to be able to potentially produce a couple of those funnel clouds. And these funnel clouds are very rare that they actually reach the ground or produce any damage, but something definitely to keep an eye on here as we get later on into the evening. That low pressure system, as I've mentioned, continuing to work its way out of the area, producing quite a bit of lightning as we get further downstate just north of Champaign. But up here in Rockford, very few of those lightning strikes ongoing, with a couple of thunderstorms, but mostly scattered showers that we're dealing with. As far as rainfall totals so far today, we've actually seen a couple of pretty hefty amounts of those rain showers. A couple areas getting close to 1.5 inches down in Sterling, half an inch in Rockford, and 1.39 inches of rain in DeKalb. A couple of areas even last night recorded a little bit more than that with some radar estimates. Now these are estimates not as far as measurements are concerned, but estimates did continue to bring up close to 6 inches of rain, or even close to 7 inches of rain in a couple of areas in western Carroll County, western Ogle County and eastern Carroll County, and that prompted a couple of flash flood warnings earlier last night. Those have since expired, and then we are still holding on to a couple of those isolated showers and storms through the day today. Pretty cloudy and overcast conditions out there. The SkyTrack camera overlooking Freeport. Very still wind, as we noticed there from the flagpole. Not really much going on outside of these isolated showers and storms. That low pressure system, though, is spinning up right overhead, and that's why we're not really seeing much of a wind, is because that's low pressure system directly overhead pretty close to us right now. But that's also keeping our temperatures a little bit on the lower side, and that remains the case here locally as well. We're still sitting in the 70s for most of us. 74 in Rockford with overcast conditions, 71 in Freeport, down to 69 degrees up in Monroe. Still holding on to just a little bit of sunshine peeking through there as well. With that dew points, we're also holding on to a little bit more of that humidity. That's where we're seeing those dew points up close to that 70-degree mark for a lot of us across the area. So it is feeling just a little bit humid out there here today. Overnight tonight, we hold on to a little bit more of that humidity as temperatures fall back down into the low 60s. There might be a couple of areas that we could see some isolated fog as well, or at least some patchier fog, holding on to those chances of showers and storms. Isolated chances for showers during the day tomorrow. Temperatures only topping out into the mid and even close to upper 70s for a lot of us, remaining the cloud cover in place. Here's what we're looking at with Futurecast here, spinning those showers out of the area as we get into overnight tonight. But as we get later on into the day tomorrow, that's where we could have a couple of those isolated showers on the back end of that system working its way through, mostly tomorrow into the early afternoon, early evening as well. After that, though, we do end up clearing out. We actually get pretty clear conditions toward the middle part and early part of next week. That's with that low pressure system currently working its way out of the area. High pressure takes its place, and that's where we're going to see a little bit more of that sunshine working in for the middle of the week. That brings our temperatures up just a little bit closer to where we should be for this time of year, around 82 degrees, at least for our normal for this time of year. That's kind of what we're looking at least for the middle part of the week. 7-day forecast also reflecting that we're into the 70s here for Sunday, low 80s for the middle part of the week. Temperatures rebounding just a little bit toward the back half of the week before our next chances for rain come through early next weekend.
Now sports with Reagan Holgate.
The Packers look ahead to their final preseason game next week with the Chiefs, but last night's win over the Saints isn't one to overlook. The Packers were back in action at Lambeau for the first time this year. Earlier in the second quarter, game tied at 3, 2nd and 1 for Green Bay. Jordan Love going deep and finds Juwann Winfrey for the 21-yard gain. Later in the drive, Packers now in the red zone. Love lofts one up to Romeo Doubs for the touchdown. Packers up 10-3 after the extra point. Saints rookie Chris Olave saw the field last night for the first time. Still in the second, Ian Book rolls out to the right and finds Olave in the end zone for the first score of his Saints career. Even with that one, though, Saints lose this one and Packers take it 20-10.
It's never perfect and there's a lot to clean up, but I was proud of the effort. I think our guys are making progress. We definitely left a few plays out there. But, like you said, preseason or not, it always feels good to win.
The Bears are also coming off a dominant preseason performance in Seattle. And some more good news rolled in today for the defense. Star linebacker Roquan Smith practiced for the first time since the start of training camp. He kept his work to individual drills and did not participate in any team activities. Smith released a statement last week requesting a trade in part because he felt the Bears didn't value him. So his plan for now is to play, finish out his rookie deal, and then become a free agent. The defending WNBA champions are well on their way to another title, and it was more than evident in Game 2 today of the playoffs in Chicago. Second quarter, Sky up by a whopping 25. Candace Parker gets the ball to Kalia Copper. She drives down the lane and gets the bucket off a tough angle. She had a game high of 20 points. Third quarter, Sky still dominating. Liberty lose the ball. Courtney Vandersloot loads up for the jumper, and she'll sink it. She had 16 points. Fourth quarter now, Sky up big off the inbound. Vandersloot dishes it to Copper, who finishes on the inside. Chicago wins 100-62. It marked just the fourth time in franchise history the Sky have scored 100 or more points in a playoff game. What a game for the Cubs. 11 innings, and it ends in a walk-off from who other than Wilson Contreras. Cubs edge out the Brewers once again 6-5. White Sox looking to rebound today in Cleveland in their second with the Guardians. They got through half of the first inning before the game was delayed. Play has yet to resume. As college camps near the end, head coach Thomas Hammock said there are some key names you need to know for NIU ahead of the season. Defensively, Muhammad Jameh. On the offensive end, wide receivers Shamar Thornton and Casper Retkowitz, and George Gums at tight end. Hammock has said him and his coaching staff have learned a lot about the 2022 Huskies, and they feel confident with what they have. And we continue our high school football previews with the Stockton Blackhawks. More coming up later tonight on where the team stands heading into opening night. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We can hear the rain outside the studio. Jordan's back with one last look at our forecast.
Yeah, today's not really a great day to be outside. There's plenty of rain showers that have been going on throughout the area. The first one, interactive radar from Rockford Auto Glass and More, actually shows a lot of those rain showers that have been coming throughout the day today, but we're actually beginning to clear out as we get later on into the night tonight. We still hold on to a very isolated chance for some rain showers during the early part of the day tomorrow, but when we get to tomorrow evening, that's when the skies begin to clear even a little bit more. Temperatures dropping back into the 80s, actually closer to where we should be for this time of year. High pressure moves in. That brings us a very slight chance we could see a lot more of that sunshine for the middle part of the week, but as we get into the back half of the week once again, another rain system works its way back through. So back to tonight really quickly, something I forgot to mention. We could see some isolated chances. We could have a couple of cold air funnels with some of the thunderstorms that we're currently seeing moving through the area. These very rarely actually reach the ground, but something definitely to keep an eye on. And keep your eyes to the sky later on here this evening. Our next chance for rain, though, coming late next week.
All right, thanks, Jordan and Reagan. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you at 10.